right. Hey, welcome back, guys. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at whatever message we may have for the 9th of May. And we've got the Two of Swords. Two of Swords upright. We've got blocked energy for sure. That Two of Swords says somebody is not about to let something come toward them. We have the Magician sideways. I feel like we may have a feminine who is either blocking their own ability to manifest or they're blocking someone that they believe they cannot trust. Now, they may intuitively sense that someday this person was going to try to get back into their world and they're like, oh, not today, Satan. Or it could be that on the 9th, she's just feeling particularly over it. Maybe nobody's trying to come back into her life, but she's just like, you know what? I have seen the reality. That person was no good for me. It could be a Virgo or a Gemini that a Libra, Gemini, Aquarius does not want back in their life. So our lead character could be an air sign feminine who does not want back somebody. We definitely keep doubling down on, I don't want them back. No, I don't want them to meander their way toward me. No, I have no interest in, I feel like she assumes that someone, this Virgo, Gemini, or possibly Leo, Sag, Aries, now that we brought in that Page of Wands, she assumes that they are someone who's like untrustworthy. They don't know what they want, and they're just time wasters. This does not have to be a lover. Let's say lots of people are time wasters. Anyone who's ever been in like sales or, like customer service, sometimes people come in, they have no intention of buying, but they will take up 6 hours of your day. And then they'll come back in 5 more times and take up another 8 hours, 3 hours. It's like, it's their hobby is to haunt you, even though they're not going to be buying, but they're enjoying, the window shopping or something. I'll put it in that context, right? Just I'm trying to come up with like what's the simplest way that I could describe a non-romantic context. And this might be like, no, I have to protect my time. If this person is not coming in to actually utilize the services that are offered, and I've given and given and given my energy to them, explained everything, been very courteous, and they still are not, I'm realizing they're not here to do anything but suck my energy, then at some point I have to say, no more of this. I cannot possibly devote any more hours to answering questions that I've already answered. It feels like that is one option on how I could read this. We've got the Three of Pentacles sideways. Look, again, this is from her perspective. She says, they were never trying to collaborate or cooperate with me. It was purely a one-sided street. They were coming in, getting what they wanted. They were coming in to take my energy. Let's say this was about love. This could be somebody where it's like, oh, I don't know if I'm ever going to choose to be with you, but I definitely would like you to choose to be with me. And I would like to make sure I touch base now and again to keep that door open. No, I'm not coming in to offer anything, but I just want to make sure the door is still open for me. That's the way she looks at this. Now, I'm not saying she's right. I'm just saying this is the way we have a character, like saying, I'm not letting somebody back into my life who does operate this way. And that's how she perceives it, right? So let's go ahead and change decks now. We've got an Eight of Wands. If anything, I could read this in 2 ways. Either this is her saying, I am so over that person. I'm so over it. Oh, okay. That's it. That is it. She's over it. She's gone. She's walking away. She's not letting any more of her precious time be taken. She's turning her back and she is out of here. Like absolutely out of here, done and gone, which is really great to see the energy of, that's it. I don't need to still be around. That's kind of awesome. It's secure. It's confident. So we may have a feminine who's over a partnership, an ex at this point. 9 of Wands. And man, it never felt so good. She never felt so light. she or he, doesn't matter. The fact that our character starts out as a feminine on the card, but then is decidedly showing up as more like, at least in this case, masculine and energy, that could represent that she's shifting into the energy of the sun, which is the masculine energy, and she's taking direct action. So I feel like on the ninth we have a character who's actively, like, she could be doing things that show that she's walking away. She could be, let's say, going into her phone and deleting old conversations between herself and this ex. She could be going onto her emails and deleting those things. She could be cleaning out, like if there were mementos or something that she still had that reminded her of that person. She may be totally cleaning house. That's probably more the way I would look at this, is she's totally cleaning house, which is terrific because it is another step toward her being free of this. We've got the Ace of Wands upright. We've got the Three of Swords sideways. This is somebody who's replacing any kind of disappointment or heartbreak with new excitement, new passion, new desire. On the ninth, she may feel suddenly like a surge of creative energy, and it's because she's getting her energy back that used to be, I'm thinking that she might have felt drained prior to this. She might have felt really, really drained. Anytime we're dealing with that kind of energy, like a magician sideways and stuff, that's somebody who's not really manifesting, but they're coming into, like, let me put it this way. The magician can be a trickster, like a snake oil salesman, instead of a master manifestor when they go into the wrong energy. And what does the snake oil salesman do? Well, they sell you stuff that isn't real and take your money and then split and leave town before, you find out that they just sold you a bottle of water instead of, the miracle, whatever cure that they pretended it was. So the magician can be somebody that drains us dry. And I'm thinking that that's what isn't happening to her anymore. She's noticing that her energy is flowing again. It's coming back. She's not sad anymore. Now she's got like a flood of kind of excitement, maybe a new lust for life. She may find that her appetite is back. She may find that she wants to do something super creative. She might find that she's, like laughing and, smiling in a way that she hasn't in a long time. So the ninth is like a really good day. She's finally over something. Let me just ask this. What was the final straw? What was it that made her get to this point of, I'm finally at the Two of Swords. I don't want this person back. King of Swords. You know what I think this is? I think she hit the point where she thought in her mind, who should they have been? Who could they have been? They could have been a King of Swords. It could have been somebody that was honest and truthful and prepared to be a real partner, and someone that I could have, if they had wanted to be truthful with me, they would have. If they had been wanting to treat me well, they absolutely would have. There was nothing holding them back from that, other than maybe they aren't that person. If they were that person, they would have been honest with me. They would have told me point blank, I want to be with you, but here's the complications of my life. Here's the things that, the only reason I'm not offering you enough right now, or here's my plans for the future. I have every intention of being honorable and building with you. Here's the plans for our Three of Wands together. And I almost think that she is at the point where she's saying, the reason I'm blocking them is because this is how they could have shown up had they wanted to. There's never a reason for somebody to remain indecisive, staying away, but coming back in to mess with me now and again. And I do feel like she would get random letters from them. I do feel like she would sometimes get, texts or something, like they were just an energy vampire to hold on to her, to keep her tangled up with them. And she's realizing the difference between, if someone were not an energy vampire, they would have been crystal clear. They wouldn't have wanted her to get away and wind up in somebody else's arms. So they would have offered something serious, and they would have made sure that she knew what was happening. And here's where I am. Here's where we are. Here's what my plan is for us. I don't want to lose you. That's not what they did. And that's why she's like, I can compare and contrast someone who's straightforward versus somebody who's a snake oil salesman. This person is an energy vampire snake oil salesman. I'm sorry to have to, I'm sorry, I know I'm being super rude about this, but those are the cards we got. And I'm just trying to understand what was it that brought her to the conclusion on the 9th that I'm done with this. And it's because she was able to, I think, compare and contrast. What do you do if you're honest? What do you do if you know what you really want? And you're a straightforward person and a mature person who knows what their wants are and wants somebody else to, I want to have a good reputation, especially in your eyes. I care about how you see me. She's like, well, then they would have been truthful and they would have made concrete plans. That's not what I got from them. Therefore, I'm allowed to call them the snake oil salesman because that's how they behave. And that's what I'm done with. I think that this had to play out for quite a while for her to have enough data to be able to say, I'm not being a harsh judge by saying, okay, I've evaluated, I let it go long enough. They proved to me through their lack of consistency that they aren't consistent, because it would have been very simple for them to be fully consistent and explain their scenario to me. So now I can put them in the category where I can say, snake oil salesman, don't want it. Nobody wants any snake oil salesman. So I feel like this is a relief, because no wonder she's not heartbroken. Why would you cry over a snake oil salesman? They never had anything to offer you that was real in the first place. So she's free of this. And forgive me for saying it so rudely, but, they didn't really have anything to offer. She had a lot to offer, though. That's why they were wanting to still cling to her, but also being dodgy about offering anything in return. She's the diamond here. She's the one who has something to offer. Anyway, she's done with this, and I think her energy is coming back full strength, and she's feeling excited and feeling ready for something else, something new, something different. That is an amazing energy to be in the 9th. Bear in mind, this could be a masculine or a feminine, does not matter. This could have been a same-sex couple. I don't read for genders. We've got a 4 of Swords in the reverse. She doesn't even need any more time to heal. There's nothing to heal from. That is probably the greatest message in here, that there isn't anything that she has to go and heal from. She's just simply done. Oh, what a relief. I feel like you sense a relief on her behalf. We've got the King of Wands sideways. She's not instantly meeting somebody new, but she's not going to chase it away if somebody new happens to cross her path. I don't think that'll all happen on the 9th. I just think that the 9th is the day that she finally, I think she falls out of love or out of hurt over the situation with someone, that she finally was able to say, if they were truthful, they would have been by now, and she finally is done with somebody who cannot. Maybe this person has an issue with the truth, this person from the past. Maybe they really struggled with the truth. In any case, she's done with that, and she moves on, and she's not heartbroken, and she's not needing to heal anymore. So for the first time, maybe in a long time, she actually knows that she is identifying herself as a single individual, not somebody who's still holding space for an ex in case they changed their ways. I really want to stress that that's what this message is. She's no longer holding space for an ex in case they changed their ways. At this point, that's the mark that we have passed beyond. There must have been some catalyst, some reason that it's now. Maybe there was, it was a certain amount of time that has passed, or it was a certain date in mind. It's if they still haven't done something by now, then I think it's fair to say they're just a snake oil salesman. But I think, she added up to here. Everybody has that point where all of a sudden it gets clear, and it's yeah, no, this is a hard pass now. Let me see. Is there any other message here? Because I love seeing that she's done with something of the past. Ace of Cups. Let the real love begin. Let the self-love begin. So the 9th is a day where she may celebrate. She may feel lighthearted for the first time in a really long time. And it's because she's over the past. Okay, I got to say, if she's in this place of self-love and her heart is full and she's actually celebrating, this has a very celebratory air. I gotta know. I mean, this is a good day to possibly meet somebody new. And that King of Wands is a potential. Holy smokes. Is it possible that as swiftly as she genuinely is over this ex who I think lingered for a really long time, is it possible that she that swiftly could actually meet someone? I mean, if she goes out to celebrate, like, I'm truly single and I feel good for the first time in a long time, and they're out of my system. The whole situation with the past, it really wasn't much of anything. That's why it doesn't linger for me anymore. I've fully let it go. Imagine how much space she's making in her heart, in her spirit, maybe in her closet, maybe in her phone, taking out the ex and all the old text messages and doing a big old purge and really truly being over it. It means she has all this space in her heart now for a new person. This, honestly, it looks like she could meet someone on the 9th that is her forever person, her real match, which I know sounds crazy. How do you go from today I'm done thinking about somebody and then bam, here's this new person? And they could be a King of Wands. But again, when we think about it energetically speaking, she just removed a massive blockage. So yes, somebody who's maybe been right for her that she hasn't been able to connect to or hasn't been able to even see. Sometimes we don't visually see somebody who's right there in front of us, as long as in our mind we're still busy thinking about someone else. We got this Hermit here, and I'm going to say that this definitely could be that she meets someone, and this could be very serendipitous. She may just casually bump into somebody on the 9th, and it's like, how is this possible that they could be the right person at the right time, the same day that I'm over an ex? How is it possible that I could meet somebody so perfect for me, so wonderful? It's because her heart is really cleaned of that old energy, which is crazy to think that it could happen so swiftly. But keep in mind, she's been evaluating stuff and healing from stuff for a while. I think today is the day, she just suddenly realizes that the past is over and it really wasn't much of anything. Once upon a time, I think she paid more attention to the frustration and the confusion from that ex than maybe anything in her life. That might have been her hyper focus for a while. And now she's sorted it out and she's done with it. And it's almost like that happened to somebody else. She's so free of it on the 9th. So of course she's single enough, but also it's like all this good stuff that's been right there waiting for her is finally able to come flooding in. This person who is a soulmate to her, they could be a Virgo. They could have been single for a while, and they might be just as stunned to bump into her as she is to them. That's super exciting. I love it. I absolutely love it. I'm going to leave that one there because this feels like that's the beginning of their next chapter and their life story now. And I'm just going to pull one card real quick for someone whose birthday might be on the 9th. We have the Lovers and we have the Moon in the reverse. This could be the year for boldness in love and romance, for divine counterparts to reveal themselves to each other, and for anything that's in the subconscious to come to the forefront. Secrets to be revealed, sweet secrets about characters who actually love each other, care about each other, and have for quite some time. This feels like a year of listening to the divine counterparts and trusting instinct a little bit more. And it's definitely a year for a great love story, possibly with a Pisces or a Gemini. All right, I'm going to leave that there. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. Thanks for giving it a thumbs up and subscribing. Bye.